Whoa, where did all of y'all come from? I'm making a comic. We gnomes love two things above all else: fighting elves and drawing Yuri. I want to yap about the plot of the one-shot. Wouldn't be able to lure you guys into reading it, so I will not. I'll just give you like the basic premise. Valentine, a Frankenstein, is lost in the midworld, a land of lawlessness and sand. She left home hoping to learn the world her master brought her into, but not taking a guide is biting her in the ass. In one small town in a long stretch of the sandy midworld, she sees a long tower. The townspeople tell tales of a monster they keep in their tower to protect them, a tower made of silver and marked with crosses. Valentine has never been able to follow human rules properly, so one night she climbs up the tower, curious of what she will find. I don't know if that was too much information, but here you go. You can take this video as how Road 2 makes OCs or something, but it wouldn't be very structured. It's more just me rambling a bit about my OCs while trying not to spoil anything. First, I write down the general features of what I want for my OCs. Height, general presentation, notable scars, species, etc. Then I sketch ideas of my OC, traditionally based on the writings and also based on references I get. I personally prefer to ideate faces on paper because I draw new ideas better on paper than digitally. I've never liked drawing character sheets, to be honest with you. It's just too much work for me and it's kind of boring, So my strategy to not have to deal with that is to make a base. I think the best thing I could use to describe the proportions of the clothing base I made is like 𝗹𝗲𝗀𝗽𝗃. I'll put some examples as to what I mean, and I'll also put the base that I made in the description if you want. It's free. Once I'm done with the clothing, I make kind of a character sheet based on what kind of character sheets I'm wanting to draw at the time. These past few weeks, I've been looking at a lot of very simple character sheets with one half body or full body, and then one portrait with the canvas size either 1:1 or 4:5. So those are the types of character sheets I decided I wanted to do for this period. I have already written down the outline for my one-shot, so I had a lot of panel ideas floating in my head. And one of them is Valentine having gotten down from her horse, looking out into the town and then glancing up at the tower. It was the most vivid panel in my mind at the time I started writing the character sheet, so it was kind of a no-brainer from there. For the portrait, I had been laughing at a TikTok comment section posting the meme, wondering how I could make it, kind of hot. I think it turned out pretty good. Some of the references I got were zombie references because for a good while I didn't remember the difference between Frankensteins and zombies, and I was confused as to why I was getting the wrong supernatural monster for my reference pictures. But it turned out good because one of the references I got gave me the idea for the loose stitches on Valentine's mouth, though since they are stitches, they can be closed up. But it's so cool, let me have this. A different reference gave me the idea for her hair color. And I think for clothing, I could make a whole video on how to pick OC clothing, but I don't want to make a tutorial when I don't think I'm that good at it anyway. So all I'll say is make sure that they fit in the world, because clothes are very much determined by the world around you. So however you choose to clothe your OC, make sure they look normal or abnormal depending on the kind of person they are in the world that they have been made in. Valentine is my baby. She is 30, canonically, but she just does not understand human beings. She has been kind of like sheltered. She's just trying, and that's like one of my favorite tropes. I think Frankenstein ages should be based on how many years they have lived since they gained consciousness, looking at you, poor things, and not what age they are assumed to be based on their physical appearance. I also think the dynamic between creator and monster is a very good storytelling device that could be used in interesting ways, especially depending on how the creator interacts with their creation. The original Frankenstein novel is a very good book if you're thinking about making like a very detailed Frankenstein type story. So read it. Right after you read, Hunger Games, I'm putting that off again, but I have to reread it. What can I say? I love angst. I'm sorry, but like it makes me feel good, especially when things go well after like deep pain and angst. Like I'm a masochist, sue me. Anyway, here is Valentine. She's so cute. Her pronouns are any pronouns, but mostly she uses she, her when referring to herself. And because her master used she, her when she was created. Okay, so even though Valentine is the main character, you now know 𝗵𝗲𝗹𝗽𝗽. So her girlfriend has to exist, and she will also be an important character in the one shot. As I draw her, can you guess when Valentine meets her from the synopsis I gave earlier? I have thought a lot more about Valentine and have a more solid idea of her than I do of Irina, this OC. I think it's because I knew the role she played in the one shot, but not how she really plays that role. But I now have a bit more of a clear picture since I finished the one shot script. Whoever said gnomes are lazy, I fucking know it was an elf. Just like with Valentine, I wrote down a few things I wanted in Irina's design, looked up references, and made sure to stick true to them. I considered having Irina in an elaborate gown, but I was already thinking about the world these characters inhabit, and the regal royal aesthetic had already been relegated to Valentine's homeland. So I was thinking of a kind of contrast to that, and settled in a modern-ish clothing. I know it might seem more in line with the whole immortal thing for vampires to have a lot more regal clothing, or at the very least dated clothing. And I did think about some industrial clothing, but the thinking of the government structure and the countenance of vampires in this one shot made me stick with modern clothing. I could always update it if I ever draw more characters in the world or the expanded comic, but for the one shot, the only vampire you meet is Irina, and hey, maybe I can retcon this and have her just dressing eccentrically, who knows. A few things I have decided about Irina. She doesn't drink human blood out of preference. I also made it so that noble vampires can live without blood forever, but will be slightly weakened and hungry. And not normal vampires need blood to survive the same way a human needs food and water. I was also contemplating on the generally accepted law on vampires and kept the burned by the sun, silver and crosses, as well as not being able to see the reflection. I am considering also allowing some vampires to turn into bats, but I'm currently leaning more into them having bat familiars, kind of like witches. But who knows? I mean, who's stopping me? Certainly not the elves. Irina would fit the tsundere trope for like 2 seconds because I love that trope, but I'm too much of a sissy to stick with it. I don't want anyone to be mean to Valentine. I can't persevere. Anyway, here is Irina. I cannot wait to finish this one shot. Also, what video would you like to see from me next? I have been replaying 𝗵𝗲𝗹𝗽𝗪 Literature Club because I love pain, as you now know. But I could turn those characters into masked lesbians, who knows. Thank you for watching. And if you want to see more of me, come follow me on the other thingy things. Okay, bye.